Yep. I'm sorry.
No, it's all right.
See if we get people back. Let me know if it says anything. Yeah, this one is live. Okay, now it's downstairs. That's good. Okay, well, that's good. Okay.
There was something weird with that one.
There.
Hi.
Hi again.
Hi, John.
Hey! Yeah, we're back.
We are keeping our fingers crossed that this doesn't... I don't know what was wrong with the other connection. It was like there was something wrong with that live stream.
Yeah, it was really weird. There was something just goofy with it. So it just kept trying to reconnect over and over and over. And so sorry we had to stop it and restart. But we're back.
Right.
So, oh my God.
Hey,
yeah.
fish sticks.
Hey, I'm glad you guys found it.
Hey, Bob.
See, you guys know better. You know when you log into one of our live streams, it's gonna be an adventure.
Yep.
So
speaking of that, now that we're inside,
Happy holidays,
all bundled up, and it's warmer inside.
Right.
It was a little cool in the garage.
Hi, Chris.
So sorry we're not in the garage. I'm not sure if that was part of the problem or not.
Yeah. Hi, Will.
Hi, Chris. So what are our plans?
For Christmas and New Year. What are our plans?
Hello. We are doing a Christmas dinner with Marcel. You guys know Marcel.
Oh, yeah, remember Marcel?
He's been helping us. Yep. And then another friend of ours. And that's just, real low down, plenty of room to spread out and be safe, obviously. Yep. And that's about all that we've planned. We might impromptu do something else, but that's all we're planning.
Yeah.
Greetings from Puerto Rico, Luis.
Oh, yeah. That'd be so cool.
I would rather be in Puerto Rico right
yes,
now.
Yes, I'd very much rather be in Puerto Rico. That would be a really, really fun vacation. We should do that.
Well, thank you guys for bearing with us in the crazy...
dear Karen. Hi, Jerry.
Oh, yeah. Hi, Jerry. So, yes, thank you. Thank you for bearing with us.
Yep. So, let's see. To bring you up to speed a little bit on the projects and things. Right. Of course, we've been working on... hi from Mexico. Cool. Yeah. Greetings from Glenn in Cleveland, Ohio. Hi, Glenn. Okay. So
well, we're getting lots of questions.
Just replace the manual transmission.
In the last, if you weren't in the last chat that kind of crashed and burned, please just repeat your questions.
Yeah, if you have questions.
If we don't answer them, sorry to make you just copy paste or something if we don't answer it, because they scroll off the screen quickly sometimes. So yeah, definitely.
Okay. So Chris said that he just replaced the transmission fluid in his 996 turbo. Mm-hmm. And that would make a good how-to video. It would. That sounds like a great video, actually.
Steve Massey.
We totally need to do that, actually. So, hi, Steve. So yeah, we totally need to do that on the turbo as well. And because it's kind of your daily driver, we should probably get to that. Yeah, there's very much in need of that.
Yeah. So one of the things that we're going to be doing is we have some little jobs so that we will be rotating like different cars in and out, and then the big project is obviously the 308. So we have quite a bit to do on the 308, but we might, just to kind of get things rolling, do some content in all the other areas. We have 356 content coming up. We have 996 content coming up. We obviously still have more of our 32 Carrera content coming up. And do we have any? Well, that's what I said already.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Before that. Yeah, she's not listening to me.
It's sorry. I'm looking at them.
But yeah, do we have I8 content coming up?
I don't think there's much to do on the i8. It's just been kind of doing pretty well. So
newer car.
It's newer cars.
Right.
I know Pat Pat's Garage online. He does a ton of stuff on his i8
We
and
definitely
things.
recommend you watching Pat's Garage
Yeah.
online. He does a lot of stuff.
So, but there are some cool things I'd like to do that I saw on Pat's channel that I'd like
Right.
to do to the car to reprogram it and stuff. So I think it'd be kind of cool. But we did get a request. So real quick, hi Jerry. So Jerry's in the house. That's great. Jerry Topfer.
Oh.
Topfer.
Topfer.
Tepfer. I never pronounce it
Right.
I'm a mess.
Jerry. We have a lot of Jerry friends. We have a lot of friends named Jerry.
Yeah, we have a lot of Jerrys. Jerrys are wonderful, wonderful
They are.
people.
Yep.
But we had a request for the just for a status on the 3.2 Carrera. So I just got done. I was working on that car all day today. So here's the update on it. So let's see. The last video you saw was it getting everything getting hooked up. So we did get the engine started. That's going to drop on Christmas Day. And then there'll be another video after that where I put the axles back in and actually go for a drive. Because there were a couple of things that happened when we started the car. So there were a couple of things we needed to kind of work through.
Are you
That's
doing spoiler alert or?
Yeah, spoiler alert.
Yeah.
And then I'm not saying what happened. I'm just saying that there were some things. So
Spoiler
stuff to
alert.
look forward to.
Right.
And then went out for a drive, and the car's not running 100%, if I'm honest. And so that's what I was working on today.
Spoiler alert.
So
right.
yeah, so you're gonna want to check out the videos as they come out, because we'll go through all the stuff that's going on with the car.
Right.
But I mean, it's nothing catastrophic or anything. It's like 98% of it is fine. It's just we have a bit more to get it just so.
And honestly, I'm kind of in the parts world for getting parts for the car, and we have, I think it's COVID related, we have not been able to get carpet for the car. I've kept calling, and I've even called some other places, and they're all like, it's like 6 months out. And I think I ordered that back in like September or something, right?
Right,
It was a while ago.
So it's been forever. So
unfortunately, I mean, we're kind of like moving on, and I mean, worst case, we'll, when we finally get the carpet, we'll move on, with the car as is if we need to, but
yeah, so we have to get the carpet. The seats have been done,
right.
So that's good. But the interior needs to be freshened up. Carpet needs to be replaced. We've got some screws and stuff, and I've got some trim molding to be sorted on that too. So I think when we get done, it's going to be pretty sweet. But it's still going to be a lot of teeny little kind of straggler things to get done.
Right.
So, but for right now, I want to get it mechanically running perfectly, and we're pretty close. Just as sort of a little hint, 5 out of 6 close. So
I would say there's a lot of different things when you say that. So.
Yeah, it was 5 out of 6. But
you would love some video content on the small interior details and improvements. Well, John, we're gonna do our best on that. Like I said, it may be a couple months out.
Yeah.
Like we might actually have to move on to a different car and then come back to it just based on COVID and manufacturing. I don't know if anybody else has been impacted by that, but for my understanding is this carpet's coming from Germany, and if they did go back into lockdown in Germany, didn't they? Or is that just France? I don't know. Is anybody from Germany that can answer that?
Yes, we had Magic 29. So what does it look like in Germany?
Right.
There now. How's that?
Somebody's on at like 1 or 2 in the morning.
Oh God, it must be.
Thanks, you guys.
Yes, you did. Okay, all right. So that would make sense then, and that's just pushing stuff out.
So yeah, unfortunately,
I totally understand Germany's in lockdown. Okay. That totally makes sense, and totally get it. 100%.
I think if anything, COVID has taught us all to be very patient. I mean, it's just one of those things where you're just
our patience.
Well, yeah, it's just amazing. Lockdown is. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. It's a bummer.
Yeah.
It is. It's it's funny. This year we just haven't been out and about much at all. We haven't been driving. I mean, the longest trip we took was literally to take the seats over to the guy who did the upholstery.
That
work
is
on the
probably the longest trip we
Right,
did.
right.
And he's
So,
just
mhm.
we're just kind of at opposite corners of Denver, Colorado. So
Yeah, we haven't gone anywhere.
Yeah, and so it was what, maybe an hour drive each
Yeah.
way.
So we've been trying to stay
Right.
safe, and Marcel is a neighbor, and
Right.
he works from home, and he's never out and about either. So we're very careful about who we spend time
the
with.
most time we interact is probably if one of us goes to the grocery store, and that's
it.
we always try to wear our masks and be safe,
Mhm.
and they're pretty good about having the mask policy around here.
Well, yes, they do. Those German cars do teach a little bit of patience. They're,
Yeah.
German cars are fun. They do require a bit of maintenance and a bit of attention, but then they always pay back. So I love
yes.
that.
Will we be doing the? What will we be doing?
Oh, okay. So
yeah. I thought you said, "Will we be doing?" Yeah, we're
right.
doing.
So we've got a couple of big things to do on the 356. We have, let's see, we have brakes all the way around.
Steering wheel.
Yeah, and I'll get so the brakes. I'm just tired of the car kind of swerving back and forth when you hit the brakes. It's kind of a long story, but I think a couple of the wheel cylinders are leaking. It's kind of driving me crazy, and the pads are mismatched. So, any rate, so we'll get to that. We have to get all the. So I'm thinking we're just going to replace all the pads and all the cylinders, and just kind of get that sorted. And then on top of that, the steering is really stiff. It's weird. It's like the bushing in the steering shaft, the rod or whatever, I guess the steering wheel shaft, whatever it is, has swollen, and it's clamping down on the shaft, and I can't do anything with it. So I'm gonna have to pull the whole thing out, I think. I'm not even sure how I'm going to do this, but I got to pull the whole thing out. Luckily, it's a convertible, and pull this thing straight out, and then replace the bushing and put it all back together, and that should take care of that. And Ava needs some new shoes.
She does.
She needs new shoes.
Right.
So,
cute little black and white shoes. Yep. David said something about taking.
Yep.
It just goes on the screen so fast.
Put out on my VW Dune Bug from storage after 30 years. Oh, great. Oh, good. The videos on the brakes were great. And those were just supposed to be brakes until I pulled the bearings out. So all of a sudden I was like, oh my God, we were so bad. So that whole project, as they always do, tends to snowball really bad. So yeah, it went kind of crazy. So any rate, great. I'm glad that the brakes video helped. That's great. How are Ozzie and Zeke doing? We want to answer that?
Oh, I can go get one.
Are they
They're
down
doing
here?
great.
Is Zeke down
Yeah,
here?
they were waiting for us right outside the garage door, and then we had to run inside, and so they want their dinner.
Yeah, they probably do. So they got to be around here somewhere. As soon as they show up, we'll
show you them.
Yeah, we'll show you.
Yeah,
They're not
doing well.
They're a little shy on camera though. They're a
Yeah,
little camera shy.
you have to go watch the Ozzie and Zeke channel. Then they're a little better there.
David says that he might have to do bearings as well. Yeah, now's the time to do it. When you've got it all apart like that, it's just a good time to do it. So
Need to do a stream with Nick Murray once he's back from New Zealand.
that would be fun. That would be a fun thing to do a dual stream with Nick. That'd be awesome. So yeah, Nick is such a great friend, and he
is, but
been sort of our mentor.
Right.
He's a nutty guy, and I love him more than my luggage. Really,
I've seen a lot more of that. Or people are doing Zoom calls, I guess. And
yeah.
Then they're streaming them live and stuff.
Yeah,
like
so
that.
we'll have to figure out how to do that. It's a little thing, but I'm sure we can figure it out. So yeah, that'd be great. We can we do that with Nick, and when he comes back, he's going to be there for a while. I think he's going to be there a couple of months even.
Yeah.
I forget what he said. So he's there for his family and certain things. So, but he'll be back.
Well,
He'll
maybe
be
we
back
can
before
stream
too
with him
long.
while he's in New Zealand.
That would be something too.
Right.
Yeah, because it's not that.
He's enjoying
that far off.
probably a lot warmer weather than we are here.
He's just a day ahead. So right.
He's a day ahead, but he's like 8 hours behind.
Okay.
So yeah.
All right.
Denver area.
Yes, we do. That would be great.
Oh,
so
we would love to do a meetup.
it would be really, really
Absolutely.
fun.
I mean, that's one of the things about COVID is that, it makes you realize from a planning perspective what you really want to do once everybody gets vaccinated.
Yeah, it's gonna be great.
Yeah.
So I don't
It might
imagine.
be a while for us. I
Yeah, I
think
don't imagine it'll be.
just based on our
soon.
age group, I think we're probably going to be in the second wave probably after June.
Yeah.
So realistically,
Yeah.
pandemic, right? What other questions do you guys have?
Yeah. So I'm kind of looking back through this.
A lot of
and,
people said hi. So there was a lot of people saying hi.
Oh, okay. And
Let me answer some real quick.
yeah. So if you want to look at that, that'd be great. So
that's fine.
See if there's stuff we forgot. Any new cars under the Christmas tree? No, there aren't any under the Christmas tree.
No,
unfortunately.
We're not sure what to do with about that because we don't have any more than 6 slots in our garage, and we really love all of our cars. So about the best we can do is work on friends' cars in the summer when we can pull one of them out of the garage. You know.
And Jerry asked, once the 3.2 is done, are we going to do another big project? You know, that's
Just the Ferrari.
that's a good question. I think we might kind of attack the Ferrari. Now,
Right.
it's a little bit different because we don't have to do the engine, but we do have some interior stuff that needs to be
the
done on
seats
that car.
really could be done too.
And full suspension on that car has to be redone. So that's going to be kind of a big deal. Oh, you're new to the Porsche Wilson, you said, and just purchased a 912 E. Did on the 356.
Oh, sorry.
So it fades off the screen. And then you did on the 3, helped so much. Oh, great. Different engine, but same exact process. So great. Awesome. Good. I'm glad that was useful. That's awesome.
So any thoughts on track days in 2021?
Do you know we've never been to the track?
We haven't. And so normally
we've never
when
been
there's
to the
not COVID. And so I don't know by July of next year if everybody, if they have proof of a vaccination or whatever. But
yeah.
Normally in July they do a ladies track day. And that would be something that we probably should film if we're going to do it. And that would be something fun. So, but they canceled. I think they canceled it this last year.
Yeah,
I think
did.
I mean, most PCA events or any kind of car events, whether it be the Porsche Club of America or somebody else.
Yeah, they've been really careful here.
And so it'll just depend.
Yeah, we'll have
I think it's going to depend if they really need to wait. Like even if June comes available and everybody gets a vaccine, or once we get the vaccines, how long is it going to take for all of the other people to get it? Like many months.
Scott asked, do we have a video to change the rear wheel bearings on a classic bug?
Look at that. Maybe seat heaters on the 996T. Yes, I would really like it, but
so yeah, there's I do have a video for that, but it's for the independent suspension one, was it independent rear suspension IRS version, so the one with the CV joints. As far as the other bearings for the swing arm versions of those cars, that's a lot like the 356, and I'm going to have the 356 rear wheels apart, so that will apply if you've got an older bug with the swing axle. So that will be coming up pretty soon. But if your car's newer and you have the independent rear suspension, then yes, I have a video for that. Check it out. It's like, I don't know, 8 or 10 back or so. It was in the last set of videos with Lemon Drop. And I pulled them all out. I've replaced all the bearings on that front and rear. So that, and even replaced the seals on the transmission as well. So there's a ton of work on that.
I think Jerry and Judy are enjoying that card.
Yeah, I think they are. Let's see. So
sorry.
Yes. Love the channel, but watch it. What is Franny's mechanical background? I get asked this all the time.
Right.
Yeah, it changes every day because I've been working on the car all the time. But yeah, so my mechanical background is I have a degree in engineering, in aerospace engineering, which that doesn't really make you a mechanic, certainly. But let's see. So I always had kind of cars that broke down a lot. I had a lot of Beetles growing up, and I had to work on them because they were my only form of transportation. I remember my scooter, which is still in the garage. I had to take that apart I lived in a mobile home in college. It was actually awesome. But I remember taking that thing apart in my living room during a rainstorm or something like that to replace a detent for the shifter in it. So it's always been.
Somebody wants to know about the Vespas. Sorry.
Yeah, and so I've always worked to just on my own stuff because I always seem to buy stuff that breaks a lot, evidently. And
Well, that's
but-
not. Depends on the age of something.
Yeah,
and
it does,
How
but
well it's
this-
maintained.
yeah, and then they do require a lot of maintenance, and I don't take cars to the shop either, so I'm kind of a stickler for that. So yeah,
Right,
unless I
so-
have to.
But yeah, I think that does when Franny says that, as far as her background, she actually has worked with a mechanic. She spent a week at a mechanic shop in Pennsylvania, right?
Bruce
And
Baker's
so
shop.
she has some 356 experience week, which I mean, it's not it's really about how much you really like to work on the cars. And so me, not so much. I mean, I think you'd much rather have Franny working on the cars than Heidi.
Well, and
And-
it's a little trial by fire. Ava
Right.
has had issues when we were driving. When we went down to Santa Fe, we had a bad fuel pump and didn't know it, and so we were having all sorts of issues with that. And that had to get sorted on the way back. Distributor
is.
had to get sorted. It was a bunch of different things. So
Franny, you do have a reputation, though. I mean, she does have a reputation. The local 356 club, they're like, "Are you gonna go to Santa Fe, Franny? Because we'd really like to go with you." It's like,
oh,
Yeah,
it's crazy. But
it
at any
is.
rate, so it's just got a little bit of trial by fire and learning and then researching. And I was working on the 3.2 today, came across some weird issues, went onto the blogs, hit the manuals and all sorts of stuff. And that's kind of how I do it, back and forth, just to get it in my head. So,
there's been lots of questions, so let me
Yep.
go back to them. So, so you
Check
have
engine light,
have
going,
you
yes,
answered
yes.
the question about the 996 heated seats?
well, I mean, that's always been the 996 heated seats have always been a pet project for Heidi.
Yeah,
And
it means I'd have to actually order the parts.
you'd have to order the parts. I
Right.
think it's close to about $1,000 in parts because they actually part
Right.
of the foam. And so you kind of what you do is you just pull the skin back on the seats, pull out the foam, put in the new foam, and then you have to wire it all in, a set of relays and new wiring and switches and such. So it's a pretty big project. And when you're done, it's awesome and everything. But yeah, it's
Yeah.
about $1,000 in parts. So yeah, that's another project we
Right,
could
so
throw
that is
on
something
the
that I
file.
need
Yeah,
to
absolutely.
get on and get ordered. Franny's like, yeah, that's Heidi, and so yeah, I need to get stuff ordered. Will you be doing or have you done a video on 911 spring plate torsion bar adjustment? So what 911 are, because we were talking about the 993,
Yeah,
right?
I was looking at suspension bits today actually, and I did that on the 356. It's basically the same process,
But you didn't do a video.
but I knew it was
Right.
years ago.
This is before we had the
yeah,
YouTube channel.
because I had to replace
I actually
there's
helped
these-
with that.
yeah, there's these big donutty
Right.
bushings in there, and so I have to replace the bushings because they were just they were 50 years old and completely shot. So, it's a thing. You have to have an angle meter for it, and you have to make sure that you get the angles of the arms just right. Mark everything up, and then it's going to have to go. Once you get it all back together, you're going to have to get it completely aligned afterwards. It's a pretty involved project. It's not like it's particularly hard or anything, but yeah, it's cheapers. It is a bit of work. I think it took me 2 weeks to do it on the 356. So.
So somebody asked us if we would bring the 356 to the 2021 West Coast holiday in Bend, Oregon. So
Oh.
Eastern Oregon, I didn't know that.
2020
2021.
2021 Bend, Oregon. That would be
Yeah.
a fun trip, wouldn't it?
It would be.
That would
Yeah,
be
I
fun.
actually have a friend that she actually has a condo or townhome in Bend. So it'd be fun. I don't know when it is, the West Coast holiday. I hadn't heard that, but
So we have
you never know. We might make a sneak appearance or something.
yeah
2021. I guess. I mean, I'm assuming that they're only going to do it if COVID's all taken care of. by
sorted.
then,
Yeah, it should be fairly sorted by then.
And then I saw a couple other fix like working on. Okay, so how hard was it to work on the Beck spider? I saw that
Oh,
somewhere.
okay.
How hard was it?
It was easier than you thought, actually. In fact, in that car, the configuration it was in with that engine, I was actually even able to get the heads off of that thing while the engine was still in the car. The only problem with getting the engine out of it is it would have to come up through the top. So that does make it a pain. But the Beck Spider is a really neat car, and that clamshell can come off of the back, not without too much fuss. So you've got so much room in there. Transmission's just sitting right down there. Suspension's easy enough to get to. So, oh my gosh, Jeff sent us a
Jeff.
Jeff, you didn't need to do that.
You definitely didn't need to do that.
That's super sweet though, but thank you. Oh my gosh.
Oh, that's so sweet. Thank you, Jeff.
And,
yeah, so sorry.
Thank you so much, Jeff. Oh my gosh.
Keep up with all of this, making sure the questions are getting answered.
Yeah.
So air conditioning issues on the 911-3.2 Carrera. Okay, so we did have an air conditioning issue, and this is really when we first got it, didn't we? Took it to a couple of different shops, right?
Yeah, so the air conditioning on the car has been upgraded. It has new Polar Seal lines on it all over. It's been converted to 134A. So all that's been done. I think it has there's like an upgrade to the fan motor up front. I read a long thread one time about this, and so the whole bit up front had been replaced. I'm trying to think, but it only still kind of sort of works. We have to recharge it, and that's the problem with the 134A molecules is those molecules are really, really teeny. So if you don't swap out the hoses, it goes right through the original lines. So that's a bummer. So that's why the lines get swapped out. And then the thing, I think there must be some old lines in there somewhere, some type of leak or something. What I really need to do is you can get a fluid that you can put through it that's actually fluorescent. And then you can run a black light around the car.
Would you guys like to see that?
That would be pretty cool. I actually watched Chris Fix do it once. It was pretty sweet. So they just put a phosphorescent dye in the actual coolant, and so that would be really cool. But so I'd like to check that out. I do want to see where there's leaks, and the reason it's a convertible, right? And so you don't really need to run the air conditioning all that much. But if you have the top up and it's raining, it gets a little humid and it's hard to see, and it's just really good to manage the moisture. So yeah, it's something we want to get the car running.
So Jeff asked us if we would like to add a seventh car.
What would it be?
What would it be?
All right, let's say what would yours be? What would you, if you had to pick one? Well, okay, but go with what we would do. I mean, not a 918 Spider, but
no, I think honestly, Jeff, we probably would consider something that maybe I could get, start working on a car with, and so it would probably be something like
that's what you bought.
A convertible classic Beetle. Just a little. I mean, Franny and I always used to talk about that, like a car like Lemon Drop.
So that's,
and it's funny because Jerry and Judy are like, if you ever want to get rid of that 993 of yours.
Yeah. Well, that's not. But the maybe a Carmen Ghia, a Ghia cabriolet.
Carmen Ghia would be another one.
That'd be pretty fun.
Beautiful cabriolet if we could find one. So yeah, that would be. But we don't have. I've actually threatened to like blow out a wall and turn the whole living room into like 4 more car slots, but
well, so that's Heidi's. That's Heidi. For me, if
great.
I was going to add a car to the garage, I think it would be a Ferrari 355.
She also really likes the Beck Spider, though.
Well, the Beck Spider would be fun too, but or a 718 would be fun.
Yeah, right, exactly.
A replica of the original 718 would be really fun, but A 355 would be
Right.
cool. A thing would be fun. Yeah, those things are great.
So, are you planning on going into the firefighting business anytime soon?
Right, right. So,
Right.
yeah, that was the thing. I learned from that experience that I don't ever really want to be a firefighter. Oh my gosh.
You have no idea. I heard some stuff about that, and I was like, "Oh, Franny."
It was pretty terrible.
Yeah, I mean, there was one point when she was surrounded by smoke, and it
Yeah,
just
so
sounded
huge
bad.
props to firefighters out there. Oh my
Right.
God, so
All you
much.
firefighters.
Oh
Yeah.
my God.
Anybody
Yeah.
that's like public service, like police officers,
Yes.
firefighters, all that. Yep, they've all been very helpful.
And John asked, aren't 355s a lot of maintenance, engine out, belts every 15,000 miles?
Right.
Yes, they are. But Radarosa put out a video where he did the belts with the engine in the car. It was a bit of work. He had to pull a pulley off. He had to move the engine a little bit, raise it up a tad, but he was able to get it done. So I was like, wow, that makes it a lot more doable to do the belts and you just do it at home. And I think he spent, what did he say? I think he spent a couple $300 or something like that. So there you go. So I think it would be great. I really
Right.
think it would be a fun car. But there's so many fun cars out there.
Right.
That would be.
So we have John Saunders on. Have you guys checked out John Saunders' channel? He's another YouTuber, so I thought I'd give him a shout out
neat.
since he's
Yeah.
on our channel
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah.
John, thank you for joining us. He has a really cool channel, so you should check it out.
Oh, somebody asked, what is the worst sports car to maintain? Oh my gosh. I guess, you didn't give an age, so I'll go with fairly newish. That's going to be, is it going to be like a Maserati or an Aston maybe? I've heard that they're just a nightmare to kind of work on.
Oh, even as far as doing it yourself kind
Yeah,
of stuff.
yeah, to
Because
maintain,
I mean,
do
I
the
can
work
think
yourself.
of a lot of stories I've heard of brand new cars.
Yeah, and then some
So-
some of the old like MGs and stuff are great.
We don't like
but the
to
parts
badmouth
are hard
just
to get.
because we're a car channel. So
Yeah.
I mean, we do have.
A cheap Porsche.
Right. We've heard stories from other people, but it's hearsay. I mean,
Well, and
like we've
and the worst car to maintain is the one that's not been maintained.
right.
It doesn't really matter
Right.
who made it. If it hasn't been maintained and it hasn't been cared for carefully, and you get it 25 years down the road or 20 years down the road or something, ugh. I was going through the forums today and I was looking for some stuff on the 3.2 Carrera, and somebody showed a picture of the Motronic computer that sits underneath the seat, and I could see the wiring harness come off of it, and then like I 2/3 of the wires had been cut, and they had been sort of re-spliced back together, and I thought, oh my God, what a nightmare that would be. That computer, that thing, oh my God, if the wiring gets all screwed up on that, it's so easy to blow it up. And so you'd pull off the seat, see that underneath it, and just, oh my gosh. So
you have another question.
Yes.
Aren't 355s a lot of maintenance, engine out belts?
that's what I answered.
Okay.
Yep.
good. Sorry. I'm like reading through a nut. Okay. Good deal.
Yep. So 8 points. The maintain a poorly maintained car is a nightmare. Yeah, it is. I mean, just so many things. And honestly, I saw a lot of stuff on Lemon Drop that I didn't like at all. Like, who would do all that work and not redo the bearings on that car? The brakes were a mess. The cylinders were leaking. There still has some other issues. What I'd like to do with that car is pull the engine out of it and clean it up really well, because that's one of the things Jerry asked. He said,
So what
this
is
thing's
Lemon
leaking
Drop?
everywhere.
Lemon Drop is a 1969 Volkswagen Beetle.
Yeah, so it's
sorry,
the cream colored
yeah.
or yellowish
We have
Beetle.
videos back, so if you're new to the channel,
Yeah.
it's go check it out.
Yeah, so
it's not our car, but it does have a name.
Yeah, that's Lemon Drop.
right.
It's adorable little car, but it still needs a bunch of stuff. And there were so many things that were just sort of hacked
We're
together.
waiting on a part, right? Because of big hole or something.
Oh
we're
yeah,
waiting
there's a
on,
plate
yeah.
in the front that's missing on the tunnel. The ignition switch on that car, Jerry came over.
Oh,
We went and drove around, and the
right.
thing stalled on me a couple of times. It drove me crazy. and finally figured out what it was. Somebody had hacked in the wrong ignition switch in that car, had double the
that
wiring.
car
it
never
needed.
has any wrong things in it.
Oh my God, it was so horrible.
Right.
And then the wiring was just sort of barely sort of put together with a little bit of crappy tape over it. And so there you go.
Right. So she's out driving with Jerry, and then the car just kind of stalls, and he's like Jerry's used to it. You know, Franny's like, what?
Yeah, he's like, I just have to jiggle the wire and it starts right up. And I'm like, that's not cool. So all that sort of stuff is just poor maintenance.
And he was just going to take it. And it was like, no, we're going to go for a drive together.
Yeah. And so the next 2 hours we spent pulling that all apart and rewiring it.
People would be so much better off if their mechanics could take them for a quick little drive once they're done working on the car. I can think of cars that we've dropped off, and then as soon as we've left, there's a question there I wanted.
Which one? Which one is it that you want to do? So,
anyway.
Because there's a couple in there. Bosch, Motronic. Yep.
Oh, somebody said they'd love to see Shamu Slumber, a holiday Christmas wish. It's always fun this time of year. You know, Franny has actually talked about editing that differently.
Well, we could refilm it. That'd be fun.
Or refilm it. Yeah.
And Shamu does have snow
unfortunately,
tires.
Christmas is right around the corner.
We're probably not going to get to it for a little bit, but
right.
Right. But we should think of something kind of clever to do for that. I think it'd be fun. I really think that would be a blast. What year Beetle convertible would you get, Heidi? That was one of the questions.
Oh boy. Well,
because you haven't owned them before.
No, I haven't, and I really like the older classics, like the late 50s, but
so convertible, you said yes.
Yeah, I don't know. I actually would have to kind of ask Franny what she would recommend.
Well, I think you can go look at them and see what you want. You're going to buy one because of the looks.
But the other thing besides the convertible Beetle that Franny always laughs at me is, my family, when I was growing up, we had one of those little Volkswagen microbuses. And I say little because we ended up getting like a Dodge van as a replacement, which was like the worst. And no offense to Dodge van owners, it's just it was the other car was so charming, and it had like a little tiny sink in it, and you could little pump thing for water, and you could wash your hands, and it was just a really great Volkswagen bus. And that, if we had space for that, I would be really nostalgic. That one was late.
That would be fun.
I think it was late 60s, early 70s.
Yeah, that would be fun. That would be fun.
I really liked that VW bus.
Yes.
So sorry.
Yes. So, and I saw here that back a little bit. Autumn Aspen said, speaking of engine out things, I ended up having my 03 996 TT welded all the coolant lines. So that's a folks on Run List go back and forth on whether it was worth the security or not. Hoovie's garage, he has a 996 turbo as well. Probably, I think it's a 0203, and he was on the track and it blew its coolant lines. Right. So it does happen.
We had it happen?
No, not the pin cooling, not the pin cooling. The actual tubes.
Yeah, we have.
So we've never had to. Yeah, we've never had that actually.
Hopefully not.
We did have a coolant line explode on us. Right. That was fun.
And we did replace
very exciting.
2 of them, even though
replaced both of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the one coming out of the pump, just is the one that kind of takes it, and boy, it split all the way along the length. But that's easy. You just pop out the old one, put the new one in, and replace the coolant, and you're good to go.
Christmas at the Broadmoor.
Christmas at the Broadmoor. Yeah,
no, I can't imagine. I mean, the Broadmoor right now, one of the great things about the Broadmoor is the buffet, and I don't think there's any buffets right now because of COVID. So that would be probably not for a while. Not this year.
John asked if there's any plans to work or do maintenance on Marcel's Countach. So I'll have to ask him. So he'll be over.
Marcel would do maintenance on his own car, but he would do it in our garage. Yes.
Yeah, but maybe we can talk him into it. He does take it apart quite a ways and cleans it. That thing is spotless inside and out.
He did teach us some cool tricks.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So maybe we can talk him into bringing the car over again.
Yep.
It's always a big hit, and it's always fun to see the big Red Bull. So it's a beast.
Right.
It really is. That drive was really fun. So if you haven't seen that video, it was a lot of fun. We didn't go very far, and the traffic was terrible that day, and
That's
so it
always
was a
stressful
bummer.
when you're in a car like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I've,
kinda crazy, but
even taking,
it was fun.
when I have done car reviews with some of the dealerships and they've, it's just stressful if there's crazy traffic.
Yeah. So, I mean, that car is kind of hot. There's not a
Right.
lot of good ventilation in it, and
I thought you meant it was hot.
well,
Like,
it is.
hot.
It is. So we went up to
Right.
we went up to Red Rocks, and we took some pictures of the car up
You guys
there.
know Red Rocks.
And Red Rocks had the famous Red Rocks.
Amphitheater,
Yep.
under the
And-
blood red sky kind of stuff. Yeah.
So we were up there taking some pictures, and the number of people that came by or drove by and had things to say, and it was really something. So yeah, it was pretty cool. It's a neat experience. I can really see the draw of that car. I know that people get upset because it's it's so hard to drive and you can't see out of it, and it's hot and it's this and it's that. Yeah, no, it's not a practical car. So if you're
Right.
looking for a practical car, that's not it. If you're looking for an incredibly showy, crazy, just mental car, that's perfect.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, great.
Penultimate P, thank you so much. Thank you.
For the 996 content. Well, we'll have some more here very
Yeah,
shortly.
so we're going to have some stuff coming up
Right.
on the 996. Oh, the other thing about Heidi's 996 is that the chin spoiler, it's kind of done. So
It's been done.
it's been very
It's
done.
been done from the very beginning, and
Yeah.
it's worse. So it's been a good practice spoiler, I guess.
Ah.
Yeah. Yep, definitely.
And then Chris asked us, how's the ceramic coat holding up on the BMW? Holding up great, and that also helps if you don't drive it that much.
Right.
So
Franny's like, we haven't driven the cars this
I
year.
know.
And it COVID is just really, we've barely gone out. So it's, yeah.
But the cool thing about it is I can use a California duster on it and go back and forth and just dust the
Right.
car, and it just makes it a lot easier to keep clean. And I did the wheels too, so that makes it so easy to keep the wheels clean. You can just use a little bit of, just a little bit of detail spray, and they clean right off, and they're like perfect. So, yeah, it's pretty sweet to get the ceramic coating. And you know what? We did take that somewhere to get it done because we got the paint protection film on it as well. But you can totally do the ceramic coating yourself. It's not that hard. It's all about prep.
She needs a video on that, doesn't
So,
she?
I probably should take a car and go from stem to stern and start from the beginning.
think
Maybe
so.
the 993 would be one to do it
Not
with.
like how I volunteer for
Yeah.
that.
Actually, I haven't done it.
Right,
I haven't
right.
done a detailing video in a long time. That'd be really fun.
Right. So, what is your go-to fun road in the Denver area? Well, we have so many good roads.
Yeah, we do.
And that's what makes this area so wonderful. And that's one of the reasons why when we first started doing our YouTube channel, we wanted to take people with us on these drives because it's so amazing. But right
your favorite?
here, well, I go up Coal Creek Canyon a
There you go.
lot.
So up Coal Creek
But
Canyon.
it's close. I mean, if I lived in Boulder, I'd be going up Flagstaff Mountain. If I lived down by Deer Creek, I'd be going Deer Creek Canyon.
Yeah, Deer Creek Canyon's
The
really
Peak
awesome.
to Peak Highway is amazing, and it's not so much twisties, but the views are just stunning. So, and you can go
Yeah.
from Estes Park all the way to Central City and stuff like that. So, yeah, we love it around here.
And so we had a question about whether we're because these things fade off the screen and I can't
Right,
read them
they
so
do.
fast.
We can barely read them.
So where was it? So how is the i8 still loving it? So yes, actually,
Yeah,
it's a great
Quite the
car.
daily driver for
Yeah.
me. Right along with the turbo.
We're on with turbo, but
Right.
it's a wonderful car. So easy to drive, responsive, fun. People love it. Fairly practical, not super duper practical, but fairly practical. You can put stuff in the back seat. You can take it to the grocery store. You're probably going to end up parking it out a little ways, but other than that, it's a great car. It's way underrated, and it gets a lot of crap online, and I don't think it's really deserved. I think that most of the crap that people give that car comes from people who don't own it. Yeah, they don't own it. They've never driven it. They sat in one or saw one somewhere or read the specs on it, and it's just not the way to really judge a car. You really have to kind of live with it for a little bit, and it's been great.
Yeah,
I really like it.
Yep, definitely. Have we been to the Pikes Peak Hill Climb?
No, I've been at Pikes Peak a couple of times, but not to the actual hill. It'd be fun to watch.
We were thinking about going at one point, and then we kind of, I don't know, dropped the ball with COVID and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, we had talked about going. I don't know if you guys know Normal Guy Supercar and his channel, but he sometimes comes up to Colorado, and I know that was one event that he was going to go to. But until he actually goes, maybe we'll join him sometime.
Yeah.
Eventually,
that'd be fun.
We have the plans to go.
We've got a bunch of questions coming up here. So
right.
Okay.
Stuff.
So why has there been no work on Santa's sleigh lately? That's a great question. If Santa's sleigh is the 308, which I guess you could kind of say it is, that's coming up. It's totally coming up. We got a lot of work to do on that car. Will you show? Will you do a show on model airplanes? I'd love to, actually. I'd love to get back into that and do some more on that.
But would you do it on this channel?
No, I think we do it on a different channel.
Right. Franny wants to start another channel.
I think we need, because I got time for that.
Right.
But yeah, we need a kind of a little more general channel for some of the other fun stuff that we do besides the car stuff.
Right.
But YouTube doesn't really reward you for being very general. You need to be fairly specific. So
no, it's the other way around. We're too specific, and we need to be more general.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No. Okay. We'll take that offline. Do I calibrate the torque wrenches and store them at a lowest value? Yeah, they say on them down to like 10 foot-pounds, I think. So I do make sure. So kind of my regiment on tools is as I'm working on the car, I gather up my tools that I'm not using and I throw them on top of the workbench. And then by the end of the day, all the tools have come back and they're sitting on top of the workbench, and they're greasy and they're gross and they're yucky.
Right.
So I go through and I clean every single one of them.
Right.
And that's when I'll go through the torque wrenches and spin them back down to 10 foot-pounds or whatever.
Right.
And I haven't calibrated them lately, but I've got a
asked
meter.
her
I
to
could do
do
that.
a video on this.
Yeah, I should
because
do that.
I was putting away stuff trying to help her out, and she's like, "Wait, that stuff's dirty," and I'm like, "What?"
Yeah, it hasn't been cleaned. I don't want to. I never want to grab.
And I was like, "Yeah,
greasy
you should show
tools out of
people
it.
that you
Ugh.
clean them before you put them away."
Right,
so,
So yeah, that's a thing. So yeah, we should do. Yeah, I probably should do a video on sort of the inner workings of the garage and what I do. That would be kind of fun.
Start an RC and drone channel.
What YouTube channels do we watch? Okay, so that's an interesting question.
You want to tell them why?
Yeah, well, we watch
Right.
I watch a split of channels, actually. We watch a lot of sailing channels.
Right.
But as far as the car channels go, Rich Rebuilds, because he's just
he's such
hilarious,
a character.
right?
Yeah, we love Rich.
He's great.
Right.
If I need to watch a review, it's going to be the Straight Pipes, most definitely. I just love those guys.
We check in with Chris Fix every now and then.
Check in with Chris Fix. He does a lot of great stuff. Trying to think what else.
Explained?
Engineering Explained. And
the other ones that I mentioned, like
and of course Radarosa. Watch all of their videos.
Radarosa for sure.
Yeah.
And then we have another friend. His name is Tedward, and he's got an interesting channel.
Yeah, he's a nice guy.
Yeah.
Really, really fun. So
yeah, check out his channel if you haven't.
And then I split my time watching S. Vidella's Gone with the Winds.
Yes.
So funny thing about Gone with the Winds, did you see the episode?
Did you see the episode when Jason was talking to Franny?
Yeah. So
Jason we had no idea.
Jason had to get the outboard engine going, and had been sitting for a year. Incredibly long story with those guys, but so he called me. I was in the middle of working on
just
the car,
about ready to go live,
and it was Lemon Drop I was working on. I had just hit the record button on the cameras and got everything all set up. Looked at the cameras, made sure they were all working.
Right.
I took one big breath to start saying whatever, and the phone rings, and I'm like,
Right.
oh,
She
never
has her cell phone in the
I
garage.
never allow the
because-
cell phone in the
for
garage
that reason.
for that reason.
Right.
And I thought, oh, so I got out because something told me it was important, and I picked it up, and it said Jason Wynn, photography, and I was like, and I'm like, Jason Wynn, because he's a photographer and he has a
Right.
business, a photography business as well, and so I was like, Jason Wynn photography, Jason Wynn. Jason. Oh my God, because we have a friend, Jason, who lives in Florida, who has a channel called
He's
Jason Wins.
The
Wins.
Wait, he's a Jason of all trades
or whatever.
and
so
then
Jason,
he has a second channel called
Jason Wins.
The Jason Wins.
Yeah.
And
so I got all
Franny was confused.
I got all confused.
What?
Anyway, I'm glad I hit, I'm glad I picked up the call, and sure enough, it was Jason calling from all the way over from Tonga. And he said, look, I'm working on the engine, and it's been out of the water for a while.
They were both very sweet.
It was so fun. I got to talk to Nikki and Jason. It was awesome. And then we go to watch the video where he puts it together, and no idea.
Right.
And he photographed a bit of that when we were live, when we were on the phone. So, so it was really fun. So, we're big fans of Gone with the Winds, and we watch a couple of different sailing channels as well.
Sailing Uma. We also watch Project Atticus.
Yeah, Project Atticus, and
we've been watching a lot of them. Sailing Solianis.
Ryan and Sophie.
Yeah.
Ryan is a pilot as well, and if you're looking for some technical stuff and sort of mission planning stuff, they had a couple of great episodes on that too. So, that's kind of it. YouTube is our thing. We don't really watch TV, so we just pick the
watch
content.
YouTube.
Yeah.
Yep. Definitely.
When we have time, of course. It's usually like when I'm up too
sailing
late.
channels, and then some car channels, and then I don't know, fun stuff. We really still like Casey Neistat, but I don't know if he's even putting anything up in a while.
I don't watch much of that. Yeah, and so the mainstream channels not so much. But by the way, did we catch the conjunction of Jupiter and Saturn?
We set the telescope up
last night.
We did. In fact,
we did.
It turned out to be a
it was like a
COVID conscientious block party because everybody saw the telescope out, and so there was kids with their little masks on, and everybody wanted to.
There were a bunch of people there.
Yeah, we had probably what, a dozen people show up.
Yeah, it was pretty neat, and
we didn't advertise it. We didn't tell anybody. It was just people seeing us with the telescope.
Yeah, it was great fun.
Oh, you had clouds. I'm so sorry.
Oh, that's too bad. Yeah, we were really close. We had a big bank of clouds that looked like it was going to mess it up.
Yeah, it was really close.
And they just went away right at the last minute. So we were really lucky about that.
It's hard to film. I mean, there was no way we could film at night. I can't believe that the eclipse video that we got up on YouTube, I don't know how many of you have seen those, but that was Franny's idea to do the eclipse.
Yeah, so we filmed the eclipse. That was awesome.
That was like such a memorable experience, and then
really
just to be able to go back and watch it again, it was a great experience.
That was really cool.
And we definitely want to do the one in 2024.
Yeah.
So, Austin, Texas.
And Steve, you asked if the outboard started up. It did. So it started right up, and so that's pretty cool. And then Jason asked me later, a few weeks later, because they had to get the big engines going in the boat. And he asked me, should I swap out the fuel filters before or after I run it? And I'm like, probably after. If you've got crap flowing through the system, run it for a little bit, shut them down, put new filters in, and you'll be good to go. And so those engines started up and did pretty well too. So that was pretty cool. I was really stoked. That's fun.
If you haven't seen that episode, is it about a month and a half ago? It was right when they first got back to Tonga. So
yeah. So it was really fun.
That's
so
right.
with the kids in the neighborhood and stuff. Oh yeah, that was really fun. We had all sorts of kids come up, and they took a look. A lot of the kids had never seen anything in the telescope before. It was really fun.
Yeah,
they'd never seen
Saturn. And Saturn looks cool. I mean, our telescope has enough that you can see the actual, like you can tell there's rings, which is neat. So, I don't know.
Does anyone know if I have to change the oil in my car if I haven't been driving it much? Okay, so that's a great question.
Yeah.
I looked at the manual because we got we got some weird comments when we swapped out the oil in the 993 because it came out and it looked pretty clean. So I looked through the manual, and what does Porsche recommend? So always you should go back to the manual, see what they recommend, what do they recommend for oil, and what are their oil change time intervals. So mileage and time. And they expect you to swap out that oil once a year, whether you use it or not. That's what it says. So it's like, I think it's like 6,000 miles or 1 year.
Well, does it depend on whether or not it's a dyno oil or if it's a synthetic?
Well, a synthetic oil definitely will last a bit longer, but whatever.
I mean, we use dyno oil in 3 of our cars, and we use synthetic in 3.
Yeah, and so my 99T was 18 months, and I think that's fine too. I wouldn't go much over 2 years, certainly on oil. And if it's a daily driver, then it definitely 1 year. But if you're not driving the car much and you're putting 3,000 through 3,000 miles a year on it, you probably go a couple of years, I would think. It depends also how you drive it. If you get it good and hot or not. Oil does not like getting a bunch of contaminants and things in it. It doesn't like getting combustion products and all that sort of stuff in it. Getting that oil good and hot and running the car for a while is really the best thing you can do if you're not driving it that much.
And that's one thing too. We have our lifts, and so a lot of times we'll back out one of the cars and pull another, put the lift down, get another car out. And we, just barely start the car. And Franny's like, I really should run the car around the neighborhood a bit. And it's just not a good idea to be, pulling the car out and then just, stopping it and starting it and stopping it and starting it when it's cold. So even if it's winter and if you have the opportunity and your car hasn't been driven at all, just even if it's a 10-minute quick little ride around the neighborhood or whatever.
Yeah, vary the RPMs, move it around a bit, get it up to operating temperature.
Starting is bad
because there's a huge amount of water in the muffler, and it'll rot out your muffler from the condensation inside your muffler, and that's bad too. With the 993, certainly, it gets super upset if you start it, move it out into the driveway, stop it, do that 2 or 3 times. It'll start to blow oil when you start it.
986s and 99.
And the Boxsters will do it as well. Yep, the
996s and the 986s.
986 and 987s will do that as well. We had this weird thing with the Boxster. Ours was an 06. Right. And we did that a few times. And then the thing, oh my God, it sounds like it's going to explode. And it's really the chain tensioner, I think, on the cams is a little bit loose. So you really just kind of have to drive it. It's a little bit scary, but
So when you do the brakes on the 356, would you change the silicone brake fluid to dot 5?
Would I change to silicone brake fluid? I don't think you can. I think you might. I would be very careful about that because that silicone dot 5 can eat through seals in the master cylinder and then in the other cylinder. So I think 5.1 might be a possibility. But here's the thing. And so I got a bunch of comments about brake fluid, and from my research, and stop me if I'm wrong, but the dot 3 is pretty much for drum brakes, dot 4 pretty much for disc brakes. And it's more about the temperature of that the fluid can handle before it boils. So it's the boiling temperature of the fluid. The drum brakes, because they're so far removed from the actual cylinders, they don't transmit an enormous amount of heat directly into the fluid. But disc brakes, you've got that fluid flowing through the calipers, and they're clamped right down on the rotors, so they get very, very hot. And so dot 4, at least for that. So that's kind of the way I look at it. And so the other thing is, you flush out this fluid fairly often, every couple of years or so, to keep moisture out of the system. So I don't know. I'll either put 3 or 4 in it, probably, be my guess. What else we got?
So what oil do you use in your 993 in the transmission? I don't, and I'm the one that orders oil and parts, and I don't even
we
know the
haven't swapped
answer.
out the transmission oil.
So maybe we have another video
Yeah,
to
we should do that too. We haven't, because we had it done by the place we bought the car from.
So we
That
bought
was
that
one of the
car.
maintenance things we had them
It's a
do.
while ago that we bought that car, though. Was it 2015?
Yeah, so it definitely needs it.
2015.
We haven't put a ton of mileage on it, so, and the transmission isn't exposed to,
car is very
contaminants.
pampered.
Yeah, so
a little bit of a garage queen.
I think you can go a little bit longer for your transmission than you can for the engine. But
yeah, we'll have to research it though.
I'm not do
sure.
Yeah, I'll have to look and see just what it is. Have to be careful though, the type that you put in it. When I saw the pictures of the inside of the transmission for the 915 for the 3.2 Carrera, definitely some brass in there. So be careful of what you use. Certain transmission fluids will eat brass and certain of them won't. And it's cheaper. So you have to be kind of careful. But yeah, we'll have to research that and find out. Maybe
we have another video for the 99. Yeah, we hadn't really thought about 993 content really. So yeah. Well, thank you guys. There's a lot of really nice comments on here. We really want to say thank you to all of you who showed up and who also stayed with us during the ridiculousness of not being able to keep a connection. So yeah.
So do we have a system to ensure we start each car and drive it at some interval? We don't. Because a lot of that stuff's weather dependent, and also here they've started using a lot more salt on the road. So I don't want to see that white haze all over everything. It's actually perfect now, so it looks great out now. But boy, oof. So it just kind of, as the weather comes up and it looks good outside, and I've got a little bit of spare time, it's time to take the cars out.
Yeah,
we did that with the Ferrari a little while ago too.
Yep.
Went out for a ride just because.
Next week off, maybe I'll take the cars out.
It was great. Yeah, this weekend's gonna be okay-ish, weather-wise. So yeah, we should make a point of doing that. But yeah, so nothing formal. Just we try to get them out.
So somebody asked about spots for the car tires being stored, and we don't really store ours for long periods of time.
Yeah, but even after a couple of months, they can start to get flat. I mean, we had that problem with Ava's tires before we swapped them out. They get flat spots on the bottom, and you drive down the road, and you're like,
that might have been because it was stored for so long at my uncle's.
No, it was here. It's just old tires do that. I think the newer the tire is, the less it does that flat spotting thing, but you can get cradles for them.
I didn't know until I really got into cars that you really should swap out your tires every 5 years. I had no idea.
Things you learn, huh?
Right.
So,
because I've had some people say, "Oh, I've got 15-year-old tires on my car," kind of stuff like that.
When do you need to replace the tires on a 2014 Cayman with 10,000 miles? It's going to be more about the date code on the tire. If you're not driving it that much and you've got great tread on it, it looks like a new tire. The date codes are hard to find. A lot of times they're on the inside, which is kind of a bummer. And the different manufacturers kind of have them in different places. But if you find the date code, really tires shouldn't go much past, I like to say like 7, 8 years, certainly 10 years. After that, it's probably time to get new tires. The rubber changes and all sorts of stuff. So I don't know. It's a great question though, because we have a lot of different tires on all the different cars, and then 3 of the cars have snow tires, so we swap those back and forth. And so you end up with tires that have been around forever. And yeah, so I mean, maybe tire technology is getting a little bit better, but I certainly wouldn't go much past 10 years with them. Let's see. So, do we have a snowblower for bad weather? Okay, so yes, we do for a snowblower, and normally I sort of have it sitting between 2 of the lifts and push it right up against the posts for the lifts, and that keeps it as much out of the way as possible. Our garage, surprisingly, is actually really tight, and so it's hard to get in and out of cars, and I'm always hitting my hip on that thing. Well, I dropped the lift down today to work on Shamu a little bit, and it's got this big knob on the side of the carrier. It's actually a pin for the pulleys in there, and it's got this big thing, and it came down, it went right on the top of the bell. And I think that's happened before. It just sort of slides off of it, but this time it actually put a good dent in it.
I haven't seen the damage yet.
Oh,
Franny
so
told me about it, but I was like,
crap. So I was able to use some clamps and some wood and stuff, and I think I got 90% of it out. But yes, we have a snowblower. That's my
we didn't
snowblower
ask
story.
you guys, since we're talking through phones.
Yeah.
Are these both on? I mean, can you guys hear us okay?
No, I'll get this turned down. I
that's
think it's
good.
fine. Yeah. Yeah. So
Snowblower question is awesome.
yeah, right. And so yeah, but the snowblower is huge because you've seen our driveway. It's 3 across, and it
Right.
goes down a ways, and it's a pretty good steep. And we didn't have one for a while, and
No, I started to travel, and Franny and I usually
Yeah.
shovel the driveway
first
together.
4 years or 4 or 5 years we didn't have one.
I just went out and bought one when I knew that I was going to be on the road a bunch because I felt bad. Franny and I usually just tackled it together because it's so bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it works great. You know, it throws the snow. We start in the center, and I set it off to the right. I go straight down. Then I make a turn at the end of the driveway. I back up, and then I kind of see my thing still sticking out here. And then I go up, and then I back up, and I go down the row again and across like this. So I never have to move my little guy left and right. And I'm always throwing the snow from the center out. That's my method.
Throw it on the stuff that I've shoveled.
Yeah. Well,
It does that to me
yeah,
now
you
and then.
want to shovel after you snowblow.
Right.
And then of course we have to do the sidewalks as well. So yeah, we have a lot of pavement to do.
Right.
So
just don't blow or shovel on Heidi's spot.
Yep.
She does that sometimes.
Yeah. I've gotten in trouble for that.
Right.
So there's
Because I still do the manual shovel. Yeah.
I do that all the time. Get smacked. Yep. Absolutely.
No.
Yep. Where we found a more permanent solution for where the driveway meets the road. We haven't. Those ramps seem to be working pretty well.
Yeah.
The bridges.
Seems like people are turning around in our driveway more than anywhere else.
Yeah, surprise.
Right. Yeah.
They could fit better, certainly. I think they're made more for a rolled curve, and ours is more angular, as you can see in the video. So it's pretty bad,
surprisingly
but
good. I'm very pleased every time I pull out the driveway. I don't have the big.
But it would be cool to get it completely torn up and completely concreted or paved or whatever. So that would be a good thing.
I missed the driveway road issue.
Yeah. So we did an episode on
it's on the
flattening
ramps.
the curb, I think is what I called it.
Right around the COVID time.
Flattening the curb.
Flattening the curb.
Yeah.
And the curb.
Those things work pretty well.
Right.
What I don't like about them is, one, they're black and no other color, and we did try to paint them, and that's obviously didn't work out.
As soon as we drove over it, the paint stuck to the tires.
And it sat there for 2 days too, a week or more. Yeah, and it still didn't. So that was a mess. They could fit a little bit better, but I also don't like their Bridget logo on everything as well. That's kind of I hate that. I really don't like that.
We wouldn't have found them if it weren't for that.
Yeah, I know.
So,
it's their marketing thing. I get it.
It is their marketing. I mean, I didn't know they existed, and then I'm like, what's that place called? Let's go take the photo. Yeah. So
it's I mean, they work really well, and they're fairly inexpensive. Yeah. But
I definitely recommend it if you don't have I mean, getting somebody to pour concrete for such a small area, a lot of times it's hard to get concrete people to actually do that.
When you have to pull a permit too.
And permits.
Because it's not our land, it's the city's land.
Yeah, it's a good interim solution until you actually can find somebody that you like and trust to do something.
They do move a little bit. Every once in a while I have to go out there and sort of move them back up the curb a little bit. So
but they haven't blocked it. Like we do have some trees around here with leaves, and it seems like everything's flowing, and there's not a bunch of garbage underneath it.
And we have had the street sweeper by a few times, and they don't plow our street. So they plowed it once the entire time we've been here, and they just went straight down the middle and turned around and went straight down. That's all they did. So they're not even close. So I know that was some of the comments we had on the video. Well, the first time they come and plow, it's going to end up in your yard. Probably,
Right, so
but
somebody
they
else
never
said
do.
that.
Yeah, they never
Got
do.
destroyed by the first plow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's too bad.
Um,
Yeah, we don't. Our street does not get. No matter what, we can't get somebody to plow.
Yeah, it's like
So it's not an issue.
Yeah, because we're on a
Right.
cul-de-sac, so they're not
Right.
willing to come in.
Right.
But that's kind of sucks for the UPS drivers. They get stuck.
Last year.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
was pre-COVID.
Yeah, they still
But
got
it was
stuck
this
out
time
there.
of year, and we had a whole bunch of
They had to tow them out or dig them out or something. That was a big old
I
mess.
had to
So,
help him. I remember that. So we good? Do we have any more questions?
yeah, let's see. So, 996 or 997 for a relatively inexpensive entry into a 911. That's actually a great question. The 997 is a bit different than the 996. The interiors are completely different.
Right.
Totally
a lot
different.
of people like the exterior of the 997 better, and they like the interior of the 996 better.
Mhm.
So it
Mhm.
depends on what's more important to you. If you're going to be driving inside the car a lot, or you're going to be at
Yeah.
car shows, or
Yeah, so the other issue, of course, is that IMS bearing, and as you grow out of that, the 997s, as they kind of grew out of it,
they're better. But
there's
honestly,
less instance, I think, of them
it's
exploding.
becoming more of a non-issue. I think a lot of people are actually doing it themselves or getting it done. Yeah, so I wouldn't worry. I mean, I wouldn't worry about that. Just make sure that you're getting.
Another thing about the 997 is it has PASM, the Porsche Active Stability Management or whatever.
Yeah. Mhm.
So you could, I call it boy mode and girl mode.
Right.
So you could put the car in girl mode if you're on a crappy road or whatever. It's terribly sexy.
But
anyway,
we always had it in girl mode.
Yeah.
Girls are not, whatever.
Because our roads are kind of crappy, and but it did make a big difference though. If you did put it in boy mode, wow, it would hunker down and tighten up, and
it's nice. I mean, you can definitely turn
cool
it
to
on
have
and it hugs the ground and stuff like that. But
yeah,
if you're daily driving it and you're commuting to work, I definitely would have it in the
yeah,
mode.
I like
What
it.
are the
I thought it
modes
was really
actually
cool.
called?
Well, I think
It's
nowadays,
not boy mode and girl mode.
no, it's
That's
just
a
on and
sexist
off
thing.
of it is.
Right.
But the I think the newer cars, the 991s and such, it's kind of more automatic. It just it senses the road and does it for you. But on the 997, you have the button. 996 didn't have it, so no active suspension for the 996. Pretty certain about that. Let's see, what else is there about the 996 and 9? Other than that, they got an engine upgrade. They're a little bit bigger. I don't know. It's all about the styling, I think, would be the difference. The main difference between the two.
A lot of people they either love or they hate the headlights in the 996.
I loved our Boxer, our 987 Boxer.
And it's funny because
did.
we bought our
Cool
2004 Turbo in 2014. 10 years later, and I remember bringing it to a store and a guy there, and he's like, "Wow, is that car like brand new?" With the those headlights, and I mean it's very no. I mean he wasn't the car enthusiast, but he thought it looked really cool. So you never know.
Yeah, I mean it's
the headlights
cool.
Don't bother me. I actually really like my car, so yeah.
Yeah,
no problem with it.
But that's that's one of the big differences I think between the 996 and the 997 for me at least would be the PASM. I don't have any problem with the headlights one way or the other. The interior is very different. So on the 996 it's very
cat sightings. Sorry.
Yeah, we need to see if you Heidi will go get a kitty.
They're hefty.
The 996 interior is very kind of swoopy and round and very organic-y looking, whereas the 997 is much more squared off, and the buttons are more kind of purpose, like they're just a completely different vibe. Sound systems were upgraded as well. You could get that upgraded Bosch sound system. I don't know. There's a couple of things that were kind of cool about it. But I don't know. Either way, I got a ride. Somebody took me out in a standard 996 Carrera, and I thought, well, this will be interesting. I really want to see oh boy, wow, what a car. It was awesome. So any way you slice it, you can't go wrong. They're just absolutely great cars. So Oh, Zeke's going to make an appearance
The 20-pound.
for I'm sure for about 5 seconds.
The 20-pound kitty.
Yep. So that's Zeke.
Yeah.
So,
can you say hi to the camera?
Yeah. He's a fussy one. It's not much of a lap cat, but
no, it's too warm. Yep.
Yeah. So that's Zeke.
I see if I can find Ozzie. He was there both right here. Like where?
And so you made this point about the turbo, the lights being a little bit different. I think for they were split across two different sort of versions of the 996 or the dot one, dot two, where the dot one had the yellow bit down in the bottom and the dot two didn't. They went to it was all clear, and then the bulb itself was yellow. And I think those were a little more palatable for some people. I think.
You're talking about the
lights.
Of the...
So your car, the turbos,
later.
Are they all the sort of dot two? I don't think there's a turbo with the yellow in front. Is there? I don't know. I don't think so. I can't even think that I've ever seen one.
It's a non-turbo on. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for the.
Right.
All the different options and all the different cars. I swear to God, it's just it's crazy.
Yeah. So okay, they refer to the 996.1 pre-turbo. So yeah, I wasn't sure when the cutoff was, and it gets confusing because the Boxsters and the 911s all had different dates in which they cut over, and I just lost track of all of it. It's a little nutty. It's very Porsche. So yeah. The turbos are the dot two look, so that makes sense. Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen one that would. I was trying to think if I've ever seen one that was orange. No, I don't think so. And then we also replaced the side markers on the car as well. You can just on any of the cars, but it had orange side markers, and pop those off and put in the orange bulb that goes in the gray ones, and those work really well. So yeah, Nick Murray. God, that guy goes into such detail about...
I can't believe he had... who was it? Was it Jack? Was it you? Somebody said that they had popcorn out for like an hour just ready to watch his hour-long video.
Yeah, because every single thing. Yeah.
Of all of his options for... I don't even remember which car it was. The new Macan or something like that.
Might have been.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, nice on the popcorn, yeah.
Yeah, it's... and then so that's another channel we watch, obviously, as well as Nick stuff.
Of course,
Nick stuff. So that's great fun. So,
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's kind of time that we get wrapped up.
I think we'll probably wrap up a little bit. I haven't eaten yet today, so that would be a fun thing to do. I had a quick little protein drinky thing for lunch, but I was too busy today. So,
this is so Franny.
So.
Right. At least you had protein drink.
Do you announce the live things? We do. We did put out a post, I think, right? You put out a post for that?
I put something on Patreon that asked it which night would be better. And so I did that on Patreon. Okay. And then I put a post out, I think it was Sunday night, and it's on the community page. So it's kind of a little bit hard to find, but you should get a notification once I post there. And it's just it's almost like a live video, but it's not.
Yeah. And if you look at your subscribe feed, so that's another thing. YouTube is kind of weird. They just really would rather, serve out to you what they want you to see, what they think you're going to watch.
Thank you.
But you can always look at your subscriptions, and it will show you everything that all the people you've subscribed to have published in chronological order. So those are in there as well. So that's cool. We
generally only give about 2 or 3 days notice for live streams because we kind of like, well, what are we doing this week? And it's very last minute. So
because they're always so horrible.
We always there's always something that goes wrong. So
I think next time we'll just do this. We'll just because we always try to
get all set up and everything, and then it just seems to be easier.
And the laptop has crappy resolution, and so we like to set up the big camera for that, so we get better resolution, which is awesome, and then we can do it out in the garage, which is also awesome.
But I don't know why this wasn't working in the garage. So now you get to see the back of our mantle. So
and a clock back there. That's great fun.
We should have faced the other way. At least we have Porsche photos.
We needed to pop the foot. We just as usual. It's always a kerfuffle. So.
Well, I hope everybody has a safe and happy holiday season, and thank you for coming to visit
Yeah,
us.
thank you so much.
And ask your questions. We always appreciate questions, and we love you guys. You guys help make our channel. So thank
Jerry
you so
says he
much.
loves his Heidi and Franny's garage shirt. Oh, great.
Great,
Yay.
great, yeah.
Yay. Well, everybody have a wonderful holiday and a great new year.
Absolutely.
And look for the videos coming out.
Right.
Christmas,
Franny's got
and
it.
then I'll try to get
She's
that other
on
one
it.
out on New Year's. It'll be
Right.
very close to New Year's. So we're working through it. We've been working really hard on it, and hope you're enjoying it. And we'll continue on. We have lots of stuff to do.
Right.
There's lots of stuff to do. So, so all right. Well, everybody.
Until next time.
Until next time. Yeah. Safe travels.
Safe travels. Bye.
All right. Take care.